Capturing great images of our galaxy is pretty easy with a little bit of know-how and practice. But what about any other galaxy? Since the very first time I connected a camera to a telescope, the Andromeda Galaxy has been at the top of my list of deep sky targets. And why shouldn't it be, given that it is our nearest galactic neighbor and that its apparent size in the night sky is actually more than twice as wide as our moon? That fact alone should make it pretty easy to find and photograph, right? Well, the problem is that the Andromeda Galaxy just isn't that bright. In fact, it's not even on the list of top 20 brightest deep sky objects, so capturing it is going to require a lot of exposure time. As we learned from my review of the MSM Nomad last summer, a good star tracker is crucial to maintaining fidelity of the stars as they rotate across the night sky during long exposures. And that necessity just becomes more amplified the narrower the field of view gets. But in order to appropriately frame this distant galaxy, we're going to need a telescope's view. Now, I've tried to use my visual telescope for astrophotography before with mixed results, and frankly, this go-to mount just isn't designed for the kind of exposure time needed for good images. We can do better than this, right? That brings me right back to the MSM Nomad, but we are going to need a telephoto lens. While the Nomad can handle decent payloads, some lenses are going to step outside of the threshold of what it can handle. But for this project, we're going to use an APS-C camera, which greatly reduces the necessary size of the glass elements. But not just any old APS-C camera. Well, actually yes, just this old A6500 that is coming up on its 10th birthday this year. And that's kind of the beauty of a star tracker like the Nomad. It's small and affordable, which makes it a great addition to whatever lightweight, budget-friendly camera system you already have. Though it is fair to say it is not limited to the absolute smallest setups, but we'll get into that later. Speaking of setup, let's talk about assembly. As we saw in my previous video, the base kit for the Nomad is just your tripod, the tracker, the laser pointer, the ball head, your camera, and a wide-angle lens. This setup will get you great long exposure images of the Milky Way galaxy with a simple laser alignment to the North Star. But in order to get that same exposure time on a tight view, you're going to need a much more precise alignment, which is where the MSM Polar Scope mount comes in. I'd also recommend pairing it with this precision alignment wedge for micro adjustments. To integrate the Polar Scope, you simply attach the scope mount using the laser mounting screw. With this clever design, you can still get a close preliminary alignment with the laser and then refine it with the scope. Attaching the scope seems straightforward, but here are some tips. This scope has a reticle pattern which you use to align Polaris. The exterior has no indication of which side should be up, but it is important to make sure your scope is perfectly oriented up and down in this fashion, so try to remember what the exterior of the scope looks like when it's perfectly oriented for faster assembly in the future. Another important thing I learned is when securing the scope, make sure to only tighten this fastening screw until it barely holds the scope stable. Sometimes over-tightening the screw can contort the scope's alignment with the tracker mount, and at this level of precision, every millimeter makes a dramatic difference. Once you're assembled, you can use an app like Polar Aligner Pro to determine where Polaris should appear inside your reticle on any given night. While looking through the scope, use the dials on the precision wedge to make small corrections until you have matched the diagram. If you decide to do this without the wedge, just using your tripod, it will just be more difficult to fine-tune, but I suppose it can be done with a lot of patience. Once you are aligned, lock everything down and activate the Nomad. Now you can mount your camera. Here you can see I've adapted the Canon EF 75-300mm lens to my Sony APS-C camera, a suiting match as both are older but very affordable products on the secondhand market. After all, the Nomad is the traveler's ideal star tracker, and both of these are similar to what a lot of consumers would already have with them on the go. I know from my star charts that Cassiopeia sort of points to the general area of where I can find Andromeda, so using that as a guide, I take a shot at the wider view until I can see where the haze of the galaxy is, then center it and zoom all the way in. At 300mm, Andromeda doesn't fill the full frame, but this is a decent view. So now let's see how well we were able to align this tracker and camera setup. At 30 seconds of exposure time, these frames are very clean. Stars are looking sharp and there is no streaking. As we bump it up to 60 seconds, we are still really sharp. Not bad, Nomad. At 300mm, there's no denying that this polar scope really made a difference. As we push the exposure time up to 2 minutes though, we are seeing the start of streaks. But keep in mind, even at 30 seconds, this is what we'd be getting at this field of view without the star tracker. That's a lot of motion to compensate for, and this tracker seems to be doing its job. So on this night, I set my camera to capture over 200 frames, and then stacked them in Deep Sky Stacker with some dark calibration frames as well. Before I show you that final result, take a look at this attempt from a couple weeks earlier with a waxing gibbous moon. While this is a somewhat pleasing result, especially compared to my best outputs previous to this, you have to wonder how much light pollution from the moon is hindering our view. The only way to know is to compare it to the new moon result, so here it is. Wow, that is quite an upgrade. Now, we can obviously attribute a lot of that to more frames in the stack, but the color accuracy is so much higher without having to fight light from the moon reflecting off the atmosphere. I'm very happy to have contrast from this outer ring showing for the very first time, and I really do like how the color turned out. It's subtle, but this bluish hue in the center is a nice contrast to the warmer light that we get from the rest of the disc. I haven't seen a lot of processed images from other photographers come out exactly like this, but this is how my camera captured the data, and I personally like it. But you know what might be the best thing about this image? The fact that you can definitely do better. These tests were conducted in my front yard where we are rated at 8.7 on the Bortle light pollution scale, and during a winter inversion. This is one of the easiest trackers to pack and assemble anywhere you want to go, meaning you could dramatically improve the amount of data you capture just by getting out of town. And while this test demonstrates that you can get a great image with whatever camera you may own, the possibilities are greatly improved with newer camera systems. Let's say you wanted to pair the more recent Sony a6700 with an APS-C lens like the Sony E70-350mm G lens. You would be well under half the payload capacity of the MSM Nomad while bringing in the improved BSI sensor of the newer camera and reduced color fringing of the G-class lens. Taking it even further with a full-frame camera like the Sony a7R5 and a full-frame telephoto lens like the Sony FE100-400mm G Master lens, you still have some headroom for capacity on the Nomad while taking advantage of a ton of megapixels and the unbeatable quality of that G Master glass. And you might even be able to pull off great shots of smaller nebulae with that added reach. Though do keep in mind that at some point leverage does become a factor to compensate for as well, so some experimentation will be required. The bottom line is, it's your story to write with your gear choices, which is really what astrophotography is about. When considering whether to add a star tracker to my loadout, I'd have to say the Nomad impressed me once again with how it helps astrophotographers take things to the next level at a very affordable price. If you'd like to grab one of your own, use the link in the description for a 5% discount on your purchases. It was fun for me to finally create a post-worthy image of Andromeda, but which nebulae would you be most interested in capturing? Leave a comment to let me know which ones you'd like to see in future videos. I actually have some other deep sky astrophotography tool reviews in the works right now, so stay tuned for those. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.